Hello everyone, this is a lecture on Elizabethan poetry. Before moving on, I have a request to make. If you like my video, please like, subscribe, and comment on the channel so that I can make more quality lectures in future. I hope you'll do me this favor and that will encourage me. So, moving on with today's lecture on Elizabethan poetry, I will first discuss what is the duration of the Elizabethan age. Elizabethan age is an age which extends from 1558 to 1603. This was the period in which Queen Elizabeth was at the helm of affairs in England, and under her able leadership, England progressed by leaps and bounds to such an extent that it became a superpower in the next 100 years. So, this was the political significance of Queen Elizabeth's rule. It was an age of exceptional productivity in literature also. Queen Elizabeth's rule was a rule under which literature progressed unprecedentedly. We had writers like William Shakespeare, Edmund Spenser, Christopher Marlowe, the stalwarts, all of these. Uh, and that is why it is called as the golden age of literature. In this lecture, we'll limit ourselves to the discussion of Elizabethan poetry. And as far as Elizabethan poetry is concerned, mainly two forms are there which we will discuss. One is Elizabethan lyrics, the other is Elizabethan sonnets. Of course, there are other forms like pastoral poetry as well. Uh, the first thing that I would want you to tell is that the credit of introducing lyrics and sonnets to English literature, to England, goes to Thomas Wyatt and Earl of Surrey. That is, his name was Henry Howard. Both these people are responsible for introducing these two art forms of uh, lyrics and sonnets into English literature. It is clear then that these forms are not original English forms. From where have they been imported into England then? It is that country is Italy. The Italian poets wrote uh, lyrics, they wrote sonnets, and Thomas Wyatt and Henry Howard both introduced these forms to English literature. Now, what is a lyric and what is a sonnet? Lyric is a short poem that can be sung. It is a melodious poem, often on a theme of love or loss. And sonnet is again a unique form of poem having 14 lines. Obviously, the rhyming patterns differ from poet to poet, but the basic feature is that it is a poem of 14 lines, and in English it is written in blank verse. So, this is about the art forms, lyrics, and sonnets. Then, you must also know that Elizabethan literature was more about symbolism, it was about nationalist feelings. The identity of England as a nation, the English identity, was evolving during this period. So, in all of literature of the Elizabethan phase, we see that nationalist spirit in uh, in the poems and even in the drama. So, the First thing that we should know is about the lyrics is that it was um, brought into English literature by Sir Thomas Sweatt and Earl of Surrey. There were some other lyricists like Edmund Spenser, Thomas Campion, William Shakespeare also wrote lyrics. The term lyric has been taken from the word lyre, Lyre. Lyre is a musical instrument from ancient Greece, and the ancient Greeks uh, used to sing songs on that musical instrument, and that is from where the name lyric has come. Now, coming to the sonnets. Sonnets are very unique in the sense that they are 14-line poems, and uh, the original Italian sonnet was of two stanzas. It contained one octave, and the second stanza was a sestet. The first stanza consists of 8 lines, the second stanza consists of 6 lines. An idea is discussed in the first stanza and it is concluded in the second stanza. This was the basic pattern of Italian sonnet, which is also known as Petrarchan sonnet, which was introduced by Sir Thomas Wyatt and Earl of Surrey in English literature. However, that form of sonnet was modified, and it was modified first by Edmund Spenser. Edmund Spenser wrote sonnets in having 14 lines, which are divided into 3 quatrains, that is 4-line stanzas, and concluded by a couplet. This was precisely the structure that was also followed by William Shakespeare. That is 4 into 3 plus 2. This is the basic uh, basic structure of a Spencerian as well as Shakespearean sonnet, as against the 8 plus 6 structure of Italian sonnet. Now, Spencerian sonnet is having the rhyme scheme of AB AB, BC BC, CD CD, and EE, while Shakespearean sonnets is they contain the rhyme scheme of AB AB, CD CD, EF EF, and GG. So this is the basic difference between Shakespearean sonnet and the Spencerian sonnet. But the common thing among all these sonnets, the English sonnet based on the Italian model, the Spencerian sonnet, and the Shakespearean sonnet, is that they were all written in blank verse. What is a blank verse? Blank verse is a line in iambic pentameter, and 2 lines don't rhyme with each other. That means these are unrhymed iambic pentameter lines, which give an impression of day-to-day speech. So this is blank verse, which was used in the Elizabethan sonnets. Now we come to some of the important works and important poets of the Elizabethan period. Uh, Obviously, the first name that comes to our mind is Edmund Spenser. Edmund Spenser is known as the poet's poet. His first work was The Shepherd's Calendar, which was published in the year 1579. This is a pastoral poem. Now, what is a pastoral poem? A pastoral poem is that poem in which the poet is a shepherd, and there are other conventions also, but the shepherd's calendar is one of the first examples of a pastoral poem. And in this poem, there are 12 eclogues, one eclogue for each month of the year. That is why the name the shepherd's calendar. The other important work of Edmund Spenser is Amoretti, which was published in 1595. In 1595, another work called the Epithalamium was also published by Edmund Spenser. Now, both these works are based on Spenser's own personal life, his love for Elizabeth Boyle. While Amoretti is about the wooing part, Epithalamium is the part after marriage. So these are very significant love poems that were written by Edmund Spenser. But the most important work that Edmund Spenser is known for is The Faerie Queene. The Faerie Queene was intended to be a book of 12, it was meant to be a work of 12 books. But Spenser could complete only 6. And this is a book which is about love. It is about values of courage, chivalry, bravery, and it contains a lot of symbolism. In fact, this work is an allegory. The Shepherd's Calendar is an allegorical poem in which what is stated has deeper meanings, deeper connotations. For example, the Queen, Gloriana, stands for Queen Elizabeth, and the symbolism continues. So, Edmund Spenser gave a new direction to English poetry. Now, the second very important Elizabethan poet is Philip Sidney. He was a critic, he was a philosopher, he was many things. As far as poetry is concerned, he wrote a very important work, that is Astrophel and Stella. It consists of 108 sonnets, and there are 11 songs also in that work. So Sir Philip Sidney is also a very important sonneteer of the Elizabethan age. The third and the greatest of them all is William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare was primarily a dramatist, but he had exceptional poetic talent. It is said that even if Shakespeare would not have written any of his dramas, he would still be a very popular, and he would still be remembered in the annals of literature only because of his sonnets. Because his sonnets have that qualities, those unique literary qualities which make them the supreme form of art that they are today. So Shakespeare wrote 154 sonnets in all, and these sonnets were written in the period of 1593 to 1595, and they were published latter. They were not published as and when they were written. They were published in 1607. So Shakespeare was very he was a great poet. And in these sonnets, he has beautifully delved on themes like love, chivalry, virtues of marriage, purity of soul. These things are beautifully depicted in his poems, in his sonnets. His sonnets are known for the themes of carpe diem and carpe florem. That means catch the day and catch the youth. That means uh, as long as you have time, make full use of your life. And youth will pass, so it is best to make full use of the youth. This was what William Shakespeare professed through his sonnets. His sonnets have various characters: a blonde youth, a dark lady, and a rival poet. And 154 sonnets are divided into segments in which some poems are addressed to the blonde youth, some uh, are addressed to the dark lady, and some are addressed to the rival poet. Uh, and in all these poems, Shakespeare is unsurpassed as far as lyrical beauty, melody, and thoughts are concerned. Uh, we will discuss only this much in this lecture because this is a lecture only on the Elizabethan poetry with a special focus on the lyrics and sonnets. So I hope you have found the lectures useful, and I again request you all to please like, subscribe, and comment on my channel so that um, I may make more such videos for